but, okay.
And we also, but the policy of the board is they can have a chance to pay back if they can do it within a certain time period. We're not going to
Well,
keep the property.
Well, within the bounds of the law. We can't
Yeah,
set that policy. We have to know
I'd be
what's
very
in the law.
careful with
Well, the laws of the properties are owned. We don't have to do anything legally.
Well, we want to make sure we know the law.
Well, that's what I think.
Yeah. I would caution you not to make that blanket statement at the meeting tonight, because I don't know if that's the policy of the board yet, and we need to discuss that at some point. Now, the other issue is whether you want to do an RFP.
Well, I'm sorry, the policy of the board. I'm sorry. Is anybody on the policy of the board, if we go into a home, we some miraculously find this owner who we didn't find, and they want to pay us back, is anybody on the board not want to pay
I would not want to have this conversation tonight, because there are people out there who motions are pending who owe us a lot of money, and I don't want to give anyone the impression that there is a date of redemption beyond November 13th. You understand? There's still actions pending.
But that's a different
No,
no, I'm sorry. It's a different set of circumstances. No, it's not. Each one of those people has responded to you. The reason they're in that category is because you've talked to them.
That's
So
right.
it's a very different set of circumstances.
Okay, but let's say they don't pay by November 13th.
Then they're screwed.
Well, I don't know, because you're just saying that you're going to let people redeem after we take the house.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry.
I think you're setting a precedent that I would
No,
just...
I'm not setting any precedent. I'm setting a precedent for people who have not responded. You have 8 homes that have not, no one's responded. So there's an important distinction. The November 13th people you've been in communication with. You've already given them 6 months notice. You've told them I'm taking you home.
Yes.
So that's a very different set of circumstances. That's my point of view.
Okay.
I think, and
I don't want to say anymore.
Not to belabor the point, you see them that way. Paul sees them all as the same category, regardless.
I'm more concerned about what a judge would see them. I mean,
Right.
it's not me. I'm just saying
I
that
understand.
a court could view it quite differently, that you are establishing a policy, and that policy is going to be applied to everybody. And that's my concern, that I don't want to undermine the efficacy of this effort by making public comments that may come back to haunt us.
I agree.
Okay, so in terms of the policy for these properties, now we can get into our other debate. The value of the homes is $3.57 billion. Is that $1 million?
That is the assessed value on the 2009 assessment.
So and those properties were valued in July 1st, 2008, correct?
Correct.
So the market's come down some level since then.
Correct.
But basically, we have $3.5 million in properties that we're going to be taking over. And then the question is, how do we dispose of these properties? And in the auction, Bishop, what was the average price at the auction that they were achieved?
You have to come up here, Bishop.
In this particular case,
Join the party.
I didn't see where there's any room up
there. The only detail I have here is Albany County. I did speak with the controller up at Albany County. They hold their own auctions. He gave me a chart of his 2007 results. It looks like they had about 111 properties that they put up for auction. They got 78% of the bids were 78% of the taxes owed, meaning that the bids equaled, they didn't recover their taxes owed in that particular auction. And the bids as a percentage of the assessed valuation was 30%. Now, that was their 2007 auction. I did attend the Dutchess County auction. I spoke at length with Pamela Barrick. She is the chief financial officer there. And she indicated they have been doing this for 12 years. They have been very successful.
I just want to know cents on the dollar. What did they achieve?
Well, she didn't give me those, but I'm going to ask her for them. She said in 12 years, they never lost money on an auction, meaning they always recovered their taxes. And there were some years that they did extremely well, meaning that they recovered well beyond the taxes owed.
What taxes are owed here? $500,000? There's no doubt in my mind we're going to achieve the tax. We're going to get 3 times the taxes. That's the question on the table. Thank you, Mr. Lynch. So 30 cents on the dollar in an auction scenario. Is that it? In 2007?
Albany County in 2007, yeah.
Okay, so, I think there's two groups that we want to approach here. One is a real estate management company and ask them for a strategy and a bid to dispose of the properties. And the second is to auction house and figure out what they do. I guess there's two different types of RFPs I would have thought. But what does the board think?
Well, the real estate management company is what you need kind of right away. I mean, you can even ask their advice on on auctioneers. I mean, I agree with you that it's sort of a twofold process, but I think we need a real estate management company sooner rather than later.
And what do you see them doing, Councilman Guilford?
Managing the properties, mowing the lawns, removing hazards, telling us, hey, there's a tree fell down in the yard, the tree has to be removed as a public safety hazard, and really to manage the property.
And so we can sell them.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yes.
Excellent. And what about the timing of selling them? Do you have any sense?
My sense is, to be candid, I'd say get rid of it as fast as possible because the town is not in the, we're not landlords. We're not a landlord. That's not our business. We are a town government.
If we could achieve $3 million if we hold on to them for a year and a half versus $1 million today, would you still make that recommendation?
If you could put it in writing and guarantee it to me, perhaps. Failing that, no. Our job is, as I think Mr. Noto kind of went into at great length the last time. There are people who are in the business of buying these properties, and the idea is to get the properties back into the market at a price that clears the market, and get them on the tax rolls. Remember, they sit there under our ownership, but we're not getting taxes, and that's what I think. Get rid of them and clear the markets and get them to the hands of people who can thrive and prosper in the homes and pay their taxes.
Well, I guess what I would suggest in the RFP that goes out, we should send this to I completely agree, we should send it to the management company as soon as possible, and get a recommendation for them, the best way to maximize value.
Sure.
And, because my expectation is, the best way is to maximize values and to sell them in the market today. It's my expectation, we'll have to see what they say. But I think the rent will far exceed the tax liability that will incur.
What makes you think you're going to be collecting rent?
Yeah, it says you're gonna pay the rent.
The chance of you collecting rent is
Collecting, I think they're infinite.
I think there's zero.
Well, we'll see.
Are you going to insure the properties also?
Absolutely. I guess the point is, well, look, if the board makes a decision to, just dump the properties, I want full disclosure to the public, I'm going to be on the other side of that trade, buying those properties.
All right.
Because I think we're screwing the taxpayers by doing that. That's just my.
You can't do that.
I can do it. I can buy it. Why can't
Well, because I think that would create other problems for us.
Well, so the Westport News.
And that's another conversation I don't want to have here tonight.
I feel so strongly about this issue. I'll be on the other side of the trade. If you force me to sell, and I will be.
I think we should note that a taxing entity selling foreclosed upon property, we're not inventing the wheel here. This has been going on for since the dawn of history. I'm sure the pharaohs went around collecting taxes.
Yeah, but we're here for. The whole point is we're here for intelligent government. Look at what was the Horton School fiasco. Who can remind me of the Horton School fiasco? Let's sell it for $1 and buy it back for $6. Who was the genius that did that? I mean, it's just insanity. And so I'm just simply saying, obviously it's a board decision, but let's put out the RFP and we'll get a recommendation and a fee, and we'll see what they say.
So the RFP is going to be for a real estate management firm, for starters.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Then
and they'll make a recommendation as to best way, what they'll charge and best way to maximize value.
Okay, fine.
All right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Great. Any other questions or comments? Bob, what side of the trade do you want to be on? By the way, actually, sorry, one last point. Just it sounds to me, in November 14th, and I actually, just to be absolutely clear, Town Attorney Noto, there's no policy for November 13th people. On November 14th, we will proceed rapidly to own those properties. So my expectation.
Well, we have to wait for the judge to make the decision, and then
2 weeks after that, right?
No, it could be up to 60 days after that. The judge says
60 days after that.
Well,
My point
that's
is,
assuming he makes the
in
decision.
very short order, we're going to be very likely coming into another set of properties.
Potentially, yeah.
Do we know the assessed value of those properties?